Hey guys, and welcome to the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report presented by Angelo Depaola, the Coastal Connection with eXp Realty and the Sportsman Marine. First podcast to bring you the local inshore, offshore, and onshore fishing report, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. All right, guys, I am not Butch Thierry. I'm Captain Patric Garmeson. Joined with me is Captain Richard Rutland. Before we jump into these reports, we've got a really cool opportunity for you. We have partnered with the AFCO, and they are offering all of our listeners 10% off AFCO products. All you have to do or get to 10% off is to text the words fishing to 314-665-1767. Again, just text the words fishing to 314-665-1767 to subscribe to our email list, and we'll send you the promo code via email. That is for 10% off of all AFCO products. So what's up, Captain Richard?
Nothing. I'm over here scrambling, looking for a pen to write down the code so I can get my 10% off, man. That's an awesome deal right there, man.
Hey, they don't give that stuff away, and they dang sure don't give away these discounts very often. So.
Well, if I was making the best product known to man too, I don't know that I'd be giving away a whole lot of discounts. Patrick, do you give give away discounts to your products and your services?
No, not really. Not really.
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. Thank you for asking. Glad to be here. It's always interesting whenever Butch is not here, and you and I get to run the show and feel like we're like local celebrities or something around here,
Man, sometimes I feel like a local celebrity when I'm walking through like Bass Pro Shop or Walmart or wherever, and me and Cooper or me and Autumn are talking, and some person like comes out from around the aisle and they're like, "Hey, are you Captain Patrick?" I'm like, who's asking?
Yep, that'll happen to me at the boat ramp. I'll be at the boat ramp and chit chat with somebody and be like, "Man, I know who you are over there. That's Captain Richard. I just got done listening to you on the way down here to go fishing this morning." That's what's cool about this show, man, is that literally, you can listen to it anytime. You know what I mean? I guess it probably says it in the reel for the advertisement for the show, something about listening to it on your way to go catch fish or whatnot. And that's what's cool about it. You click her on and listen to it for a little while and click it off when you got to take a phone call or something to do. You don't have to tune in like the old school radio,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you don't have to stop what you're doing to listen to this show. You can listen to it in 10-part segments if you want to.
Yeah. Well, man, it's definitely like an exciting time of year. I know we got some good reports lined up, and I can't wait to get into it with you on the inshore report here in just a little while and compare notes with what we've both been doing. But man, it's been fun. Everybody I'm talking to, inshore, offshore, onshore, everybody's doing something. So it's a special time of year.
It really is. It really is. I've had conversations with a lot of different people lately, and it's fun to hear so many cool stories. Nobody's doing like the same thing, and everybody's everybody's having their own story. Some better than the others, but most people are got something home to take home with them, whether it be fish or a good story. So. Yeah, we'll get into it here in just a second. See if we can get Skipper on the phone with us. But first, let's hear who's making this show possible.
This week's Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report is brought to you by Sportsman's Marine. Sportsman's Marine has an extensive tackle selection of anything that local anglers need for saltwater and freshwater fishing, as well as boating accessories. They have the largest selection of the slick lure in Mobile and Baldwin County. They have AFCO, Pelagic, and Saltwater Fanatics apparel along with other local brands. Go check out their Edgewater, Wellcraft, and Vexus lines of boats. They offer engine services with 5-star Yamaha and Mercury mechanics. And also brought to you by AFCO, American Fishing Tackle Company. AFCO's fishing clothing is designed to handle the harshest elements. From cold tournament mornings to the humid summers of Florida, their products are built to handle the extreme. They're proud to hear customer stories about the 20-plus year-long life cycle of their AFCO products. Their passion for the outdoors goes beyond their products. They're committed to protecting their fishing resources and angler rights. Through their 10% pledge to protect and conserve, your purchase of any AFCO product directly supports conservation initiatives. Visit aftco.com. That's AFTCO.com to learn more. And also brought to you by the Alabama Marine Resources Division reminds all recreational anglers who harvest gray triggerfish, greater amberjack, or red snapper that their catch must be reported through Snapper Check. This includes vessels, kayaks, and shore anglers who possess any of these reef fish. Reporting is mandatory and must be done prior to landing fish in Alabama, regardless of where the fish were caught. Anglers can report to Snapper Check online at outdooralabama.com or through the official Outdoor AL app. For more information about Snapper Check or any of the 2021 fishing seasons, please visit outdooralabama.com.
All right, found Skipper. He's inshore. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Just shut these old motors off, give them a rest for a few hours. We're just getting in from a 3-day trip. Just cracked a cold beer. So,
oh man,
right.
I'm jealous, man. Where are you at? You gonna drop me a pin to where the cold beer is?
Yes, sir. You know where it's at.
Well, tell us about your trip, man. Where, without telling us too much, but where'd you go? What'd you do? What'd you catch? How'd you do it?
Right.
We need the goods,
man. We've been mostly offshore the last few weeks, trying to find a tuna fish, and it's been all right. It's been a grind. I mean, we've been catching a few fish every trip. A few yellowfins, a mess of black fins, but this last trip we finally got 3 yellowfins. Got a nice dolphin yesterday evening. That helped out a lot. Like a 40-pound dolphin. Released a blue marlin yesterday morning. I heard of a couple of blue marlins yesterday, so they've been showing up. He's probably about 300. So offshore fishing's been good, but it's been a grind. It hadn't. It's a long way. I'm a long way from telling you that it's on fire, but it's been pretty good.
Well, let me ask you a question, Skipper. Because one thing, especially that. That Captain Patrick and I are paying attention to right now in the middle of May is we just came off the full moon. So that affects, and I know too, how that moon can really light things up and it can really shut things down. Do you see moon phase kind of screwing with the tuna bite at all or not so much? Because I know it messes with a lot of offshore species, like all the way from grouper to swordfish. I'm sure the marlin and everything. Yeah, snapper as well. So what are your thoughts on that?
We were talking about that these last 2 trips because tuna fishing was so much better before that moon started getting big. But golly, there's so many other factors that go into it. But I think the moon, there's no doubt it can directly affect them. But, I've caught the heck out of them on a full moon. But then the last 2 trips, the last 5 or 6 days or so, it's been like pulling teeth. You see a few fish and you just fish and fish and fish and finally get just enough. So it just does seem like this last little bit, that big full moon shut them down big time offshore to me.
Yeah, that's funny because I've been kind of comparing notes with Captain Patrick and Captain Bobby and a few other folks, and for inshore, man, it's been great. It's been really good, especially on the big fish side, which I can't wait to get into with Patrick here in a little bit on the inshore report. Nice. But that's interesting to hear about the offshore thing. I just kind of feel like, man, when everything's lit up, you would think if the fish are chewing inshore, would be offshore, but just who knows, right place, right time kind of thing too. Do you pay attention to lunar patterns when you're out there too on any of that, or you like me and just you're going anyway, so you don't really have a choice when you can go.
Right. For a couple of years, a long time ago, I wrote down every bite offshore. I was religious about it for 2 or 3 years back when I first started. And like you say, I finally just realized that I had to go fishing whenever I had to trip and I had to deal with it, whatever it may be. And I quit keeping track of it, to say the truth, quit writing it down anyway.
But looking back,
you got to make it happen either way,
Well, looking back, did you start to see any kind of pattern, or was it just kind of all over the place?
It was all over the place, and that was another reason that I gave it up too. You had outliers that didn't seem to make any sense just as often as you thought you had something figured out.
That's right.
So,
how's the bottom fishing and stuff been closer to inshore? Because Heck, we're in the middle of May. In a couple of weeks here, we got a lot of guys a lot of listeners are going to be going out and kicking off the Red Snapper Derby in Alabama. But how's that size and the bite and everything been looking for you?
Man, I think we're going to catch our snapper. I think it's been looking okay. I do think a lot of people are going to find it a lot harder than they've gotten used to. Well, I think it's still good. It's just that we've been so spoiled for so long here. We're still going to catch our fish, but I think we're going to have to work for them some. I really do.
Right.
From what I'm seeing.
Yeah, kind of. Everybody's going to need to tighten up their skills a little bit. Use lighter leaders, lighter and longer leaders, and live bait and small hooks and all that.
Maybe a little further offshore.
Hey, Skipper,
fish a little harder.
Hey, Richard's got you tuned in on the red snapper question. I was thinking about it the other day. We always have different listeners. We always have new listeners, and we may have some people out there that, they just bought their boat last summer and deciding they're going to get after the red snapper this year. And, a lot of times people that have been around red snapper fishing for years will claim it being an easy fish, or, it's only 2 fish to go out there and catch per person,
right.
blah, blah, blah. Well, give me kind of the rundown on just maybe a beginner's level of, maybe a rod and reel setup and kind of line and terminal tackle and tell our listeners what, just what the basics would look like for a red snapper setup.
Gosh, I guess your most basic setup would just be like a 4/0 Senator, 60-pound test, a 6.5 foot medium action rod, with probably a Carolina style rig, what we call a sow rig, as small a slip lead as you can get away with, depending on the current, 4 to 8 or 10 ounces, and 4 or 5 foot of 60 or 80 pound leader, and then like a 10-11 mustad circle hook with your bait of choice, whatever you find, some live bait or cigar minnow or squid or something like that would be, pretty standard snapper equipment for a beginner, or for anybody really.
What would be your bait of choice? You had unlimited options.
Unlimited options.
What's your number one?
Unlimited options. I'd have a live well full of destined cigar minnows if you could find them.
Nice. Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that.
If I got a live well full of those, I'm a happy guy.
Gotcha. I wasn't expecting that. I've always hear a lot of people talk croakers. I really like a croaker.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, croaker's a great bait. Seems harder and harder to get. More and more, the bait shops are always just backlogged and all, and we buy them when they're available when we can. But just as often, we spend a lot of time catching our own. And it generally pays off, Yeah. It really does.
We have a little bit of time left on triggerfish and amberjack. Is that right?
Trigger closed 1st of May.
Okay.
They were pretty good this spring. Yeah. And then Jack opened, and then it'll close the 1st of June. But Jacks have been pretty good. This last trip, we actually struggled with them. I think we only got 3. A couple of them were nice ones. We had a hard time getting some bigger live bait, so we just got a few jacks. Where the last couple of trips, we caught all the jacks we wanted. So, yeah, but I'd say it, generally speaking, it's been pretty good.
Those jacks, to me, in my little limited amount of time offshore compared to you, they seem to booger up a little bit around that moon sometimes. When that moon gets full, not real sure what's going on there with them. Don't really know any of what their spawning activity or habits are and whatnot, if that has anything to do with it. But man, to me, it seems like it kind of gets a little tough around that full moon sometimes. I'm sure you maybe.
Well, maybe that could have been it this trip. I mean, because I fished kind of the same area that I had the last few trips, and just didn't really mark the fish like I did, on my depth finder, and didn't catch as many. So it could be something to that. But amberjacks too, they just always move around a lot, whether it's full moon or I don't know what else moves them around, but they just do.
Yep. All right, my man. Well, that's a great report. We appreciate you coming on and sharing some of that knowledge and what you're seeing out there. Look forward to having you on next time.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Skipper. Hey, guys. Let's take a quick break and hear from a few of this week's sponsors.
That segment was brought to you by Fishing Chaos. Have you been looking for the perfect excuse to get outside and spend some time fishing? PFC, the Fins Fishing Classic, is a regional fishing tournament that is raising funds for your local United Way and needs your participation. Virtual submission means you can fish from anywhere, anytime, and submit photos of your catch for judging. PFC will feature over $10,000 in prizes and giveaways for placing anglers. Don't miss your chance to win big by fishing the PFC starting April 9th. For more information, visit our site. That's PHINSfishingclassic.com or download the Fishing Chaos app. And also, Admiral Shellfish. Admiral oysters are available at select restaurants and can also be purchased by the public at Bon Secours Fisheries, Inc. and Ahi Seafood in Fairhope, Alabama. Call for availability. From a simple, nutrient-dense appetizer at home or a shucking party with friends, Admiral oysters will steal the show. Follow their adventures on Instagram at Admiral Shellfish Co. And also, L&M Marine. L&M Marine has something for everyone from small hunting boats, pontoon boats, to bigger bay boats and offshore hybrids. L&M Marine LLC prides itself on its customer service and knows how important it is to have someone you can trust and to be taken care of. They are locally owned and regularly support the community. L&M Marine provides superior customer service and has an entire team that consists of professional sales members, finance experts, service technicians, and a knowledgeable parts and accessory staff to support you. Go visit their friendly, reliable, and experienced staff now located only 6 miles north of I-10 at 34600 Highway 59 in Stapleton, Alabama, or give them a call at 251-937-1380.
All right, Richard, that was a good offshore report with Skipper. And
heck yeah, I was giving that junker some brain busters with that moon phase, huh?
Man, he just kept rolling right by the moon phase, man. He wasn't worried about no moon phase. He just goes out and catches
you just got to put your daggum head down and go fishing, man. Who cares what the moon's doing, man? It's always doing something. It's either making it good or making it bad. Ain't no way. What are you gonna do? You know,
there's no in between. It's either making it good or making it bad. That's right.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing for like you and I and Skipper, making a living fishing. We don't get to choose what the moon phase is when we go fishing or anything like that. The thing we can do is to make notes and try to get better as far as our skills go, working around that, whether it's targeting another species or when it shuts one species down, target something else. Or know where to be when it comes to the solunar patterns and stuff if you're trying to target some big fish, so there's a lot to that moon phase, man. I used to pay attention to the moon phase near as much as I do now, but like I look at it every day now, like I look at the tides, like I look at the wind and everything else. It's becoming an everyday thing, and I can't say that I used to be that way. So yeah, hopefully I'm maybe getting a little smarter in my old age, but we'll see.
You're getting smarter in your old age. All right,
yeah,
that's a good one there.
Yep, don't tell anybody.
Well, man, speaking of smarter in his own age, or in his old age, how about let's hear from Blakely Ellis from the CCA Alabama. What's up, Blakely?
Hey, man, not much. How you guys doing?
Man, if we were any better, we'd beat you.
Oh, isn't that the truth, man? Right back at you. I think the grass is always greener on the other side.
It always.
The office is wishing he was on the boat. The guy on the boat wishing he was in the AC in the office.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I actually heard a story on the boat today about my client. He's a doctor, and he was telling us that he had a friend that was a medical device salesman, and he quit his medical device salesman job to go be a fishing guide in Orange Beach. And I was like, I hope he's not married or anything, and his wife doesn't know that he quit like a real good paying job to be poor. You know what I mean? Because this fishing thing, it's a lot of work, and we're not.
Maybe that's the only way he can figure out how to get a boat.
That's right. Well, and none of us are getting rich doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? We do it because we love it. So Patric's probably getting rich over there.
Yeah,
but
that's right. Yeah, because I'm over here on the east side and everything like that, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't even throw that in there, man. I like that over there on the east side. Oh yeah, the grass is real green over there.
Yeah.
I know.
Yep.
Well, what's up? Well, what's up, Blakely? What you got to talk to us about today, man?
So it's I'm all full force ahead with the STAR Tournament. So y'all heard me mention it before, and a lot of the folks from that fish Louisiana or Texas or Florida may have seen it. But we're launching our inaugural STAR Tournament here in Alabama, and it's going to kick off on Saturday morning at 5 a.m. on the Memorial Day weekend, and it's going to run all the way through Labor Day Monday, and it's going to end at 5 o'clock that afternoon. So it's about 100 days worth of fishing, and it's a pretty simple concept. We're going to tag 30 redfish with these special blue tags, and obviously it'll have a special phone number on there, and it'll obviously not be any of our other orange or green tags that people may have seen, and those fish are going to be split up between Mobile and Baldwin County and distributed amongst our Alabama coastal waters. And register for the tournament at $75. And the first angler who's registered and catches one of these tagged redfish, they're going to win a 2022 Nautic Star 215 bay boat with a 150 Yamaha 4-stroke and a tandem axle trailer package. So I know it's kind of a mouthful, but that's the nuts and bolts of the thing is pay the $75 and go catch one of these tagged fish, and you win a 2022 Nautic Star 215 bay.
All right. Well, Blakely, what's the angler supposed to do with the fish? They throw it on ice, keep it alive, cut the tag off? What's the procedure?
So they can do either. The main thing is the tag. We need that tag. So they can either clip it off at the base of the fish and let the fish go if they want, or they can toss it in the cooler. But the main thing that they need is that tag, and to have been registered in the tournament before they caught that fish. And so that's the main thing is though possessing that tag and calling us as soon as you do catch the fish.
Okay. Well, that's cool, man.
Yep.
Yeah. So who all can participate in this?
So there's a guides division where any of the captains who do sign up for the tournament, what that allows them to do is be eligible for 2 of our guides packages. And so if one of those packages will be given to the captain who signs up the most of his customers for the tournament. So whichever captain enrolls the most participants into the tournament will win a $2,000 package, and that's from our conservation partners like AFCO, Sims, TFO, Daiwa. We'll work with you and come up with a package that fits whatever you might need in your arsenal or something that might have been on your wish list. And then we're going to do a second guides division package if to the guide who, if one of their registered anglers catches the winning fish, then that captain will receive a second or the second guides division package.
Well, Blakely, I'm going to tell you what, I really like the sounds of the guide division, other than I know Captain Patric's going to beat me at all of those things. Somebody on his boat is going to catch the one of the tagged fish and win the boat, and he's going to win the guides division and get the $2,000 package and everything else, man. But I know that's what's going to happen. This jugger's going to get after it because he can't beat me at anything else. So he might as well see how many people he can sign up, you know.
Richard, man, it sounds like you need a hug.
I don't need a hug. I'm a big, strong winter horse. All right. No, I'm just trying to give Positive Pat some motivation there, okay? Because I know he's going to do a great job at it. So
always motivated.
But yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, we've got, it's pretty simple this year. We've just got the one species, one division, and really one grand prize from Yamaha and Nautic Star. And so it's $75 to fish for 100 days. You know, if we don't have anybody that catches a fish and is registered before the tournament ends, everybody that was entered into the tournament that'll basically convert to a raffle, and we're going to give the boat away no matter what. So it's not like I'm going to be sitting there crossing my fingers hoping nobody catches it so that we can use it for something else. It's going home with somebody that registers for the tournament. So people could feel good knowing that one way or the other, one of y'all is going to win it. So
man, that's huge for our fishermen, for our anglers, and for the CCA, for the fact that you're giving away a prize like that in the state of Alabama, which we've never had anything like that given away. Probably about the only thing that would top what you guys are doing would be the contender, the contender that gets given away in the rodeo every year, you know.
That's right.
So that's huge, and it's really, you know, I guess the way you know, however you want to look at it, for the rodeo, you've got to buy a ticket and catch a fish within a 3-day period for $50. And with this, you pay $25 more, $75 ticket, and you've got 100 days to catch redfish. Man, I wonder what the effort is going to be from some folks because that this is out there. How much it's going to raise the effort as far as our anglers go around this area, trying to catch that one of those 30 tagged redfish. That's pretty crazy.
I do predict a big increase in our phone calls from the regular tags that are out there, because we already get a fair amount of people who call thinking that they've won a boat because they used to fish in Louisiana or something. I'll walk into my office and the voicemail light on my phone is just like blaring at me, blinding me, because there's about 19 messages and the same guy called like 12 times on a Saturday or something. And I'm calling like, yeah, sorry, but you did. Unfortunately, you did not win anything, but we are sending you a T-shirt or a hat. But, but yeah, Blakely, Richard, you're right, man. It's a good deal.
Blake, let me ask you another question. As far as signing up and entering the tournament, I know you said it's going to start on Memorial Day and go to Labor Day. Can anyone buy a ticket at any time throughout the process, or they have to be signed up before Memorial Day, before the tournament actually starts?
No, you can sign up at any time, but it's going to need to be before you catch the fish, because it comes down to the minute, to the second. So either if you've got the Fishing Chaos app, if you like going that route, then you can sign up on Fishing Chaos, and or if you want to go to our website, joincca.org, and then there's a big button on the top that says Star Tournament, and you click that tab, and then the entry fee includes a 12-month CCA membership, and so that's all built in together as one package or item for the Fishing Chaos checkout process. And then on the website, then you just got to make sure it won't let you do it without it, but you'll have to add a membership to it when you check out on our national website. But that's kind of the scoop on that.
Yep. Well, just for our listeners, anybody who thinks they got a trick up their sleeve, I helped Blakely look at the rules for this tournament, and went through it and gave him my nod of approval on it and whatnot. But one thing to mention about exactly what you just said was, you need to make sure that you have bought the ticket before you actually catch the fish. There are measures there are measures that are in place to catch you if you're not telling the truth. When you win a boat package, you usually got to go make sure that you're being truthful about it with a polygraph test or something of that nature. So anybody out there who's listening, who's thinking about it, just go ahead and
spend the $75.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's what I'm saying, but that's not what I'm saying. Don't try to cheat, because you're gonna look a lot worse if you if you do something like that versus just paying before you play. You know what I mean? It's all it is, man. It's pretty cheap ticket to win a big boat. You know what I mean? What's the boat package worth retail on that?
It's a little over 60,000, I believe. Well, actually, with the trailer, I think it's about 65,000.
Man, that's unbelievable. I'd buy that. Yeah. I'd buy that over a lotto ticket any day of the week, man.
Absolutely.
Lottery, or going to the casinos, or betting on a sports team, man. I'm gonna bet on me. I'm gonna catch that joker. You know what I mean? I'm gonna bet on me, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's we're looking forward to it. We really are, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's cool because it runs that whole summer. You know, it's Saturday morning of Memorial Day weekend. I think it's the 28th at 5 a.m. starts, and then it ends on Labor Day Monday. And so everybody needs to go out there and go ahead and get registered. And everybody's got my contact info. Hit us up on their website or Facebook or Instagram, and we'll get back to you. So if you got any problems trying to get registered, now's the time to sort that out. We'll get it all squared away, make sure you're all set. And looking forward to having a lot of folks sign up.
Cool.
Well, Blakely, man, I really appreciate you coming on here and telling us about this great tournament that I've been saying we need to have in Alabama for like 10 ever since I've known you. So congratulations to you for as the director of CCA for Alabama, getting this off the ground and hitting the ground running with it and finding a bunch of great sponsors and everybody to make it happen. So congratulations, man, and thank you for all your hard work.
Buddy.
Yeah, Blakely,
man, thank you. And right back at the both of y'all. Y'all do a lot for the fish and for our organization. And without y'all's help, we couldn't do what we do. So right back at you.
Appreciate it, Blakely. Thanks for thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, bud.
See ya.
Well, Richard, I'm with you, man. You told Blakely you've been chewing on his ear for 10 years to get the CCA star here in Alabama. I'm with you, man. Every time I see one of these other coastal states having the star tournament, I'm like, why don't we have that in Alabama? So I am pretty excited that we finally have this thing in our own home state, and we can all compete to try to, well, you and I are competing for apparently $2,000 prizes, and
I know
to win a boat. So good for them.
Yeah. Apparently it's not fair if we compete. So whatever. But I guess we get to compete against each other, which is cool. I'm always welcome to some competition, no matter what it is. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be big things for the state of Alabama.
Well, speaking of big things, we got the drawdown at the grounds hosted by Saltwater Fanatics and the Fever on May 21st, and that's at the grounds out there at the where they have the big fair and all that out there.
Yeah, the fair. Yeah, where the Ferris wheel is. Yeah,
Ferris wheel turns in the
Yep.
fall.
I cannot say that I've ever been to one of these drawdowns, but I have heard a lot of very positive things about what goes down out at these events, especially the ones that Justin Fidalis put on with with Saltwater Fanatics, and the Fever's also done some in the past, and always heard positive things about what they're doing, what they're giving away. Just the event in general has been very positive from what I can tell. So I've been to one that Justin did a while back, and man, it was a blast. This year they had the live music, the Wellborn Band, food and drinks by Namath's Catering, $5,000 cash and prizes. Like I said, May 21st, doors open at 6 p.m. Tickets, $100 pre-sale, $125 at the door, and portion of the proceeds are benefiting Dash Foundation of Baldwin County. So if anybody's looking for something to do, May 21st, y'all go check it out. Sweet.
Let's talk some inshore fishing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we gonna talk about fishing on this show today, or what? No.
Yeah. What's your story? What's been working? What's not been working?
Man, I can just tell you, I just been tickled to death with the fishing and how I've been fishing has been a lot of fun. I don't think it's any secret. Everybody knows that's listened to us, listen to me on the show. Anyway, I love to wade fish, and this is just like wade fishing central right now. Been doing a lot of wading in a lot of places all over around the bay, down in the Sound, around Dolphin Island, in the Gulf, in the Sound, like all over the place, and man, it's just been a blast. And the size of the fish has been real good. I'm just tickled to death as I can be right now with the fishing around. I was kind of comparing notes with Captain Bobby this afternoon, and I was asking him, I was like, man, are you still catching them real good? Like, cause I am, and he's like, yeah. And I was like, didn't you kind of think it was going to fall off after this moon or whatever? He's like, yeah, I keep waiting any day, man. I know it's going to fall off, it's going to fall off, but heck, it keeps on going,
Yeah.
So, man, the fish are just fired up. You can definitely tell on some of the bigger, what we'll call sow trout or big female trout that you're catching. Heck, we caught 3 or 4 today that were over slot, over 22 inches or so. And they looked like big male trout, because they were real long, but just had like no belly whatsoever, and we released all those, but even the like what I call the keeper size of 17, 18-inch fish that we kept, you clean them or whatever, and like their roe is shrink down like the size of your thumb, not big and inflamed and humongous, like it looks like their gut's about to bust open.
Yeah, so we should have had a good spawn last week then.
Yep. It feels like it. I hope that's the case, obviously. But the other fun part that I love about wade fishing country and wade fishing time is just using plastic, man. Yeah. I love catching fish on artificial. We had a really special day this morning on top waters, man. Was just unbelievable. Fish were like knocking the lure out of the water. I had one fish blow up on my lure. It was kind of a little bit breezy today, and I threw my lure out, and we were fishing out of the boat by this point, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning too, which you would not think is like, well, not top water time, but I saw a few clouds come in, and I was like, man, it just feels right to throw a top water. First cast on top water, throw it out, and there was a bunch of wind, and so I had this big bag in my line, and I'm trying to get my rod tip down and get the line to lay in the water. And before I can even get my line down in the water and start working the lure, something's blowing up. Trout's blowing up on my lure. And I'm like trying to reel it and work it a little bit and slow it down this and the other. Anyway, long story short, I swear the fish probably chased the lure 30 or 40 feet before he finally got it. He blew up on it 8 times before he finally got it. Like I say, he was knocked it out of the water twice, and like was just so hot on the lure, man. It was so much fun to watch. And my client was about to jump out of his skin watching it, watching the whole thing too, and he kind of got in that, he got in that action there too, but man, it was just a blast. The fish seem just so aggressive right now, especially in shallow water.
Yeah. Your soft plastics, or you've been throwing slick lures, or you've been throwing some of those down souths like you've been throwing, or what's been the sweet spot there?
A little bit of all of the above, but I will tell you I got another wade fishing trip in the morning. Before I've actually set a reminder in my phone that when I get to where I'm picking my boat up in the morning, I've got a reminder to put more slick lures in my boat because I'm like almost out of every color. I don't have any B-cats in my boat. I don't have any cool beans in my boat. I'm almost out of Bayou Blues and tucks, like those have been my top like 4 colors. I'd say we've been blowing and going through them, man. That slick has been out producing everything. But some of the stuff I've been doing out on the Gulf Beach, it's a little deeper. I'm fishing like some 7 to 9 foot holes out there. The slick's not always getting it done right there, so I've had to switch over to what you mentioned there earlier. Some of those down south, some of the down souths grubs. The bigger one, I think they call it the super shad or something like that. I can't remember,
like
but
it's 5-inch bait or something.
Yeah, it's a real big profile with a long, skinny little paddle tail on it. Man, that's such a great lure. But that's been fishing that on like a 1/4 ounce jig head. And kind of getting it down in some of those deeper holes out there because the fish are kind of, they're relating to the bottom in one way, shape, or form. They will rise up and suspend, obviously, in some of that deeper water stuff. But that's been the ticket for us several times. So
are you you trying to keep that bait in contact with the bottom, or are you just trying to get it to the bottom and then slowly swimming it back, or what's?
I would just say closer to the bottom than on the surface. When you're fishing that depth of water, it doesn't have to be like you're doing like the like what we do in the deep water jigging thing, like when we're up in Mobile River or like in that 20 foot of water where I feel like anyway, I'm having to hit the bottom with the lure to get a bite. It's not like that. I'm just trying to get it down a little bit more in some of those areas. But man, really, to be honest with you, those beach trout, I don't really think it matters a whole lot what you throw at them. You could put a daggum Well, I feel like I could thread a daggum Slim Jim on a jig head, and the jokers would wreck it. They just get so aggressive on that beach. I remember a zillion different days where I've gone out there on like a bluebird sunny day at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and destroyed them on top water out there, So it, kind of one of the old sayings that a friend of mine who puts on a little speckled trout tournament, his name's Joe Guile. He does the Spectator every year, I think sometime in June. And Bobby and I fished it and won it a couple of times. And anyway, one of his he always makes a T-shirt for his tournament, and one of his T-shirts said it had like a picture of a speckled trout on there, and it like across the top it says "easy to catch, hard to find." You know what I mean? And that's kind of what you're dealing with right now. I feel like, because their fish are real easy to catch. You just got to find them. You know what I mean? You get in front of them, and they're easy to catch. Just doesn't take a whole lot of skill. Being technical and whatnot with your rod and your lure and everything like that.
I'd agree. Today, my customer, I had him on the bow throwing top water, and he was getting like all the action, and I was throwing a slick, getting no bites at all, not even a tap. And then I noticed it had been, I don't know, it'd probably been 15 casts or so for him, and he hadn't had a bite. And some mullet kind of spooked off from like a fish blew up or something. And I was using the Cold Night colored slick, and I started burning it in, and daggum friggin' trout come out, looked like he come out from underneath the boat and about ripped the rod out of my hand. So I was reeling it as fast as I could, because I was wanting to cast over there where there's mullet just showered, and here this guy freaking comes out from under the boat, daggum 18-incher, about pulls the rod out of the hand. So you're right. I mean, the technical skills of the lure is like, you can be at a beginner skill level on catching them on soft plastics right now, is what I'm saying too.
Yeah, it's funny you say that about the top water thing today, because we experienced the same thing. Mid-morning we found a shallow water bite, and we're catching some real pretty fish on top water. And man, I kept picking up a slick and throwing that croaker color slick. That's another one of my colors that I've been throwing a lot of right now, is that croaker color. Is a great new color that they have made and come up with. It really just matches a lot of the water quality that we have around here. The watercolor that we have around, man, it just like blends in so pretty and so nice. I picked up a slick several times throughout our bite when we were catching them on top water, and couldn't buy a bite. They wanted the top water. I mean, it was just what they wanted, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, So I think right now these fish are, they're in spawn mode. They're aggressive, and it's not a bad bet right now, going at them with that top water.
So you've been pretty much sticking exclusively shallow water. Is that right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep. I'm trying to go through my trips in my mind, and I've been carrying some slip cord, and been hitting a little bit of the deep water stuff, but just hadn't been anything near action wise what's going on in shallow water, and yeah, I mean, I don't think it's any secret as far as I go what I like to do. I'm not a deep water warrior when it comes to this time of year, really all the way into the fall until the water temperature cools off a fair amount. I would much rather always be in shallow water. Fish to me always just seem easier to catch. You don't have like, a whole lot of water column to try to cover when you're in that. Now when it's happening, if I got to do it, that's fine, and I'll do it, but it's not my favorite thing in the world to do. I'd much rather be in a couple foot of water most of the day when I'm targeting trout.
Right. To go into what you're saying about like how, figuring fish out in the deeper water is sometimes a little bit of a challenge. I was fishing some structure in like 10 feet of water earlier this week, and I was picking up on a bite that I'd found last week, and I started on it earlier this week, and last week the current wasn't moving real fast, and we were catching these fish on popping corks and free line, like in 10 feet of water, or I think it was 10 feet. Went there, caught one almost instantly on a popping cork, and then nothing. And I noticed the current was really ripping past the structure. Like, I don't know. I just felt like we were like, there was no way to really present the bait properly. So then I put a slip cork on, first drift with a slip cork. And then like for the next 10 or 12 after that, the slip cork getting the bait almost on the bottom was the ticket. So, in a lot of cases, when you get into that, say 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet, or even deeper, you do have to, you can't just make one pass over it and say, well, there's no fish here, because they could be there. They're just positioned at a different level. So it definitely requires you to fish a little slower to do that.
Yeah. You made me think about something. Everybody does everything a little bit different as far like, especially when it comes to slip corking. There's people that where they rig up all the beads on it and this, that, and the other, and one thing I always think is funny is, I mean, literally when I was about, 10 or 12 years old, I went on my first guide trip with Captain Bobby, and he taught me and my father so much. Like, we had him under a daggum microscope to the point where my dad went and bought all the same reels that Captain Bobby had, same rods, like even bought the same tackle box and organized his tackle the same way. I mean, and I was just a kid learning from my dad, but it was the absolute right thing to do. But I just always remember paying attention to all that. I would always set my depth on my slip cork to my weight. That's how I did it for years and years and years, is how I set my depth. But Captain Bobby, 25 years later, from being 10 or 12 years old to in my 30s, when I start being his tournament, being a tournament partner with him and whatnot, he sets his depth to a shrimp, down to the hook, not to the weight, and it's funny that you said that, because you could easily go the wrong way, one way or the other, either having it too high or too low or whatnot. And I think what you're saying there, what everybody needs to pick up on with my story here, is to, when you're set up and you feel good about where you're set up and everything you're doing, you need to try a couple of different things and not just write it off right away. You know what I mean? Spend a little extra time, because there's a huge water column there, and the fish could be at any level, suspended way above that structure, be real low down tight on the structure, or right where they're supposed to be, 1 to 2 foot off the bottom. So in my opinion, it definitely pays to kind of go through the extra motion, trying a few different things before you punt and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we set up on another bite. We just started out by, I was just in a zone where I've had historical success with a slip cork set at 7 feet. So I put one at 7 feet and one at like 4 foot, just to check a little bit shallower, and then one popping cork. The 7 foot one got hit, almost immediately, and then switched everybody else over to like the 7 feet, and we just started catching them. Well, most of the fish were small and undersized, and we were like, well, let's move on and try something else. So I just let the trolling motor down and just trolling motored over top of where the fish were. And they were, every one of them that I saw on the fish finder were marking at 7 to 7.5 feet of water. So it was like, for some reason, that's where the fish were. There were no shallower. They were no deeper than that. That was where the fish were. Why they were there, I'll never know. But anyway, it was it was cool to find out. What about flounder or redfish? You've been still picking up a few of them?
Oh yeah, flounder fishing's been unreal. I had a real good trip the other day down in the northern part of the Sound, down near Grand Bay, where I got in some of the little feeder creeks or bayous, whatever you want to call them, in Grand Bay and over closer to Bayou La Battery. And I'm sure it would work anywhere in any of those little creek miles down there. But we had a day where we had a real good morning on trout down there, popping cork and live shrimp. And they kind of want to do something a little different. So we went, tried to go red fishing. We didn't do that great on the redfish, but I think we had 8 flounder in 2 spots that we checked out. You know, I tell you, the one thing I've been doing a little bit with the flounder here lately with some of my clients is, especially if you got some moving current, you know, either a good outgoing or a good incoming tide where you got some current along some deeper edges of some grass, as we've been just using our popping cork rig, but not popping the cork, you know, throwing it out next to the grass and just letting the current kind of sweep that shrimp across the bottom. And you'll either, you know, if you watch a cork close like you and I would, you know what I mean? You'll see your cork freaking go doop, you know, and kind of like dob down and stop. It'll check up, you know, it'll stop moving. Or you'll see your cork start to like kind of glide off or do just something other than what it would normally do if it was drifting. Mm-hmm. And that's been working great. And then of course, you know, I've gotten to where I don't even like using live bait for flounder anymore. I would much rather use a grub with some type of scent. Really loving the Fishbites right now, man. Those that Dirty Boxer and the Kicking Shrimp and a couple of those patterns have been really good. And I don't think the color matters. I don't think the profile matters, anything like that, man. It just needs to be on the bottom, ticking along like, you know, like using your flounder cadence. And even, you know, heck, we've even caught them on voodoos just fine and whatnot. But I always love adding a little bit of scent with those flounder. Really, I think goes a long way. And that's why I like to lean towards those fish bites are great. Yeah. For getting that scent out there. Or the other product I really like for unscented lures is Procure. Does a great job, you know, and I don't really think the flavor of the scent matters. I just think you need to have some kind of scent on there. What about you? You been getting some?
Man, I really haven't like specifically tried to catch any flounder, but we're catching a few. We're catching some on popping corks and shrimp. We're catching some on slick lures. The guy that was on the boat with me today, he was real interested in trying to catch a redfish, and we didn't have any redfish bites on slicks or topwater. So I was like, man, maybe we'll throw a gold spoon along this shoreline. He's throwing a gold spoon, and a flounder is literally following the gold spoon all the way to the boat, and like is like grabbing at the back hook. And it's like, come on, man, that's cool. Get it. I've never seen it, man. I was like tripping out because I've never seen a flounder just follow the bait all the way as long as that fish did.
You should have told him, hey man, keep reeling. I'm gonna get the net, man. I'll just let him swim in the net.
I probably could have done it, you know. I didn't even, I was too enamored. I was too excited and to watch it. And a lot of times when I see fish like that, I don't know, I just get freaking zoned in on watching what's happening versus like thinking like something like that, you know.
But, you're getting a little giddy, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
Heck yeah, man. The flounder story is a really cool one, man. I have all my customers seem to ask me about flounder and whatnot, and that is just such a cool story to kind of see this big comeback with them, and I really hope it's not short-lived. I feel like we're, you know, in year 2 of seeing a comeback with them, and hopefully it continues, man. It's such a fun fish to target and catch, and great to eat. You know, the whole 9 yards with flounder are so cool. What I was going to tell you, something I was going to mention about flounders. I remember, and I was telling another guide this the other day when we were comparing notes, was I remember when I first started guiding, and even before that, when my dad and I used to just kind of inshore fun fish all the time. It seemed like every trip you'd catch at least one flounder, if not 3 or 4.
Mhm.
And that was even like, well, we're slip corking shrimp out around the rigs in the bay. You'd catch flounder, you know, or when you're in shallow water popping cork fishing. And I kind of like kick myself these days thinking, why the heck wasn't I targeting flounder more often back in the, you know, when there was actually some flounder around, you know, and now it's starting to come around, and now it's getting to where my customers will ask me on a charter, hey, you made what about flounder? You guys catching flounder? I was like, yeah, we are. You want to go catch one? They're like, oh yeah, you know, we've had enough of this trout and redfish thing, you know, and we'll go to a couple of little areas where you think they live, and sure enough, you're catching a few, you know. So it's kind of neat. You're actually able to go target flounder now.
Yeah, definitely nice addition to help out our inshore fishing. But man, not only is the flounder game improved, but the speckled trout game really feels as good as I've seen it in a while. I mean, like it is every trip we're catching fish over 20 inches. Like that's just something, you know, everybody does it. It's cool. It's easy. It just feels like the trout fishing is on a really good spot right now.
Yep. I tell you, the one thing I love to see too is we've been catching a lot of that, you know, the better size, like what you're talking about. We're also catching a lot of numbers of small fish too, which just always makes me feel so good about the fishery when there's just droves and droves of, you know, 12 and 14-inch fish all over the place, you know. So it makes you feel good that they're spawning and it's working, and that they're not dying or anything. They're all good. You know, the fishery feels healthy.
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of thank the state for helping us get to where we are with that, you know, because I really think, like with the flounder, I think the new regulations that came out with flounder have really helped turn that around, and with speckled trout fishing.
Absolutely.
I think those are really good things that they're doing.
Yep, and we've got the hatchery raising both of those species. So I talked to Max Westendorf down at the hatchery the other day, and he said the flounder hatchet was phenomenal this past winter, and they've already got some speckled trout hatches going on, and just he said it's been speckled trout thing in the hatchery has been a real hit. So
yeah, success. Yeah, that's good.
Yep. Well, Richard, let's wrap up this inshore thing, and let's head on down and hear what our buddy Scott Kennedy has got to say, man.
All righty.
All right, folks, that was an incredible report. Let's take a quick break and check out a few of this week's great sponsors. That segment was brought to you by CCA Alabama. 30 special tagged redfish will be released inside Alabama coastal waters before the tournament starts on the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend and ends on Labor Day Monday for 101 days of angling. If CCA does not have a grand prize winner during the tournament, the grand prize will convert into a raffle for all registered anglers. Registration is only $75 and $40 for current CCA members. Sign up now at joincca.org/star tournament. And also brought to you by Yactix. Yactix Kayak Rentals and Guide Service, providing unique and engaging experiences for anyone on the Alabama Gulf Coast and surrounding areas. Their kayaks come fully equipped with everything you need, including fish finders, nets, stakeout poles, fish grips, pliers, fishing poles, and bait and tackle. They offer a wide range of services to fit any weekend agenda. Let them deliver your boats to the launch, guide you through some of the best fishing spots, or accompany you on a relaxing hands-free pedal through the beautiful and scenic coast. They welcome all, from first-timers to seasoned veterans. More information available at yactix.com.
All right, we got Scott Kennedy on the line. Kayaking Kennedy, what you got, buddy?
What's up, guys?
Man,
it has been a busy week for me. I'm finally, after welcoming my child here a few weeks ago, I'm finally getting back in the swing of things. And I tell you, I had some time to make up. So I was angry at the fish this past week.
That's great, man.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, congratulations. What'd you have, a little girl or a little boy?
A little boy.
Yep. Mama good, baby healthy, everybody good?
Oh yeah, everybody's home now. Everybody's healthy. Things are as normal as they can be with a 3-week-old at the house, I suppose.
That's right. Is that y'all's first one?
Yep, and it's definitely our first.
Well, man, that's really special, man. I've got 3 kids, and Patric's got 2. That's our lives, man. That's what you that's what you do that's what you work so hard for every day is to provide for them and make sure they grow up and have a good, healthy life, man. So congratulations, man. It's a really, really, really special time. I know it doesn't seem real special right now because you're not sleeping a lot at night, and like the wrong thing to do is to shake the baby when they won't stop crying, whatnot. But it gets better every day, man. But congratulations, buddy. That's super awesome, man. We're so happy for you.
Thank you.
All right, enough about babies. Tell us about fishing, man. Well, we want to know about some killing. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I tell you, kind of just started at the beginning of the week, I guess, or tail end of last week, I suppose. Started getting back into the inshore swing of things. I've been kind of focusing on the south end of the bay. I know it's definitely cleaning up some in the bay, but it is definitely a little dingy, at least what I've noticed where I've been. So trying to keep it at the south end, trying to find that cleaner water. But it has been a speckled trout fest inshore for me. I've been fishing a lot of my same holes that I frequent quite a bit. Biggest thing I've kind of changed up. I'm not fishing inside these tidal creeks anymore. I've kind of gone to just strictly the mouths and the points and, the sand flats and stuff surrounding these mouths. And it was a pretty good week for me. We had a couple mornings with great top water bites. I say it probably every time I'm on here, but top water fishing is as good as it gets. You can't beat a good top water bite, especially a big hungry trout. I mean, it's exciting, and it can be a little stressful too when they miss the top water 3 or 4 times before they finally get a hold of it. I had one morning in particular. It seemed like those fish just, I don't know, the water was a little dingier that day, so I don't know if they were having trouble locking in on it or what. But I mean, I would have 10 or 15 blow-ups on some of these casts trying to bring it in and just miss after miss, and had to really, really slow it down. Just kind of almost didn't feel right working it as slow as I was, almost putting a pause in between each pop, but that seemed to help a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the top water was great for me. When they kind of backed off on the top water, I went to my, my suspending twitch baits, had a lot of luck on those, had some luck on the slicks. And I tell you, if you could find good tide movement, somewhat decent clean water, there was not much wrong to be done. It seemed like it was definitely some good trips. I did another day where I fished the eastern shore, fishing the docks and everything along there. Had another great day. Kind of working the same thing. Just get out there real early. Throw in top water for the first hour, maybe 2 hours if you're lucky. Switching over to the suspending twitch baits. One thing I did do up there on the eastern shore that was a little bit different than what I do down here at the south end of the bay. I was throwing some grubs for them, or not grubs, but some big paddle tails. Through that 5-inch, I guess it's the Slam Shady paddle tail, and actually had some pretty good bites. Later in the morning when things were starting to slow down. And the only thing I guess is just getting down there a little bit deeper. They were just feeding down there deeper. But yeah, I mean, I had good luck on that paddle tail. So I think I'm going to have to kind of keep one of those rigged up maybe a little more often. I throw them a lot down here for redfish and everything, but I never really play with them with the trout. So I think I'm going to have to keep that one in my arsenal.
There you go. Well, Scott, tell me, I feel like a lot of us lure fishermen will have some go-tos. So what's your go-to top water right now?
I have been throwing the head-on one knocker. That has been
what color?
The golden ticket for me. I like the kind of that gold side pink bottom. And if I'm not throwing that one, if I feel like the water's a little bit dirty, I'll go with that bright chartreuse bottom, and it's kind of got like the whitish sides a little bit. That's been the main top water. I did pick up a Spook Junior for a little bit, but I was catching a lot of smaller fish, a lot of those 12, 13-inch males, and decided to kind of kind of up my lure size a little bit, try to help them see it a little bit better and try to get some of the bigger fish. Past the top water, that's pretty much the only 2 top waters I've been throwing the past week or 2. Past that, I'm a big Miradine guy. Love the Miradine, the MR17. Good old chartreuse silverside. That is my go-to. About the only one I will throw. I'll pick up that kind of dark purple every now and then. Like if it's the middle of the day, real bluebird skies, I'll pick up that kind of dark purple. But that chartreuse silverside is good to me. And kind of the same thing with the top water. If I'm in an area and I can't seem to stay away from the small trout, I'll throw on that Miradine XL, the MR27. That one's been good to me. I don't throw it quite as much, just because it's a pretty heavy bait, and I like to make as many casts as possible. So at the end of the day, you start to feel that little bit of heavier bait. But yeah, I've been doing good with that. Past that, I throw like the Yozuri, would that be the 3DS, lip twitch bait. That one's been real good, and kind of sticking with the theme. I like the chartreuse with that one, and that's about the only color with that one.
Yeah,
Scott, you're kind of starting to sound like an old married man talking about you're worn out from throwing a bigger bait all day, man. Come on, come on, bro. You better tighten up. This is not this guide fishing is not for the week, okay?
I'm gonna blame that on the 2-week hiatus I had.
Okay. So you're a little out of shape.
Out of practice, out of shape.
Yeah, a little out of shape. That's all right. I'll give that one to you, bro. You bet. Next time you come on here, man. Don't you can leave that stuff at home, man. Come on, we're big strong men on this show. Come on.
Talking about that, the kayak. It took me after that first day getting back in it. I kind of feel bad for some of my customers after some of these longer trips we've made. I was feeling it on that one.
Do you pedal drive or you rowing?
No, I'm all pedal drive. If I can go a full day without having to touch a paddle, that is a great day for me. I do not like to paddle one bit.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on the leg workout, man. Because my wife and I just built a new fence in our backyard, and squatting down to screw those bottom screws in the fence for about the tune of about 600 boards. It hurt old Captain Dick. I was feeling it on the boat the next day, man. I was hurt. Golly, it was hurting.
Scott, I got a question about like with the kayaking. Do you have any type of spud pole, Cajun anchor, power pole, or anything like that? Like, because the way I fish inshore is if I'm in shallow water and I'm drifting across the flat or a zone where I feel like I'm going to find some fish, and I stick a fish or my customer sticks a fish, I almost always pull down and stop the boat and try to be thorough in that area. What are you doing on a kayak?
Yeah, it kind of varies depending on the bottom. If I have the option to use one of those spud poles, I definitely use one of those. It is as convenient as it can get. If I'm in like some muddier bottoms, some marshy areas, like some of that stuff on like the north side of Mississippi Sound, that's definitely a good option. Now, what I run into a lot down here, south end of the bay, Fort Morgan, Orange Beach, kind of that end of this end of the county, a lot of hard pack bottom, that sand bottom, and it is not the easiest thing to drive one of those spud poles in when your kayak's trying to shoot out, from underneath you. So in that case, I've just got, that old, kind of grappling hook claw anchor.
Okay.
So we'll keep those, we got them on the side of the kayaks. We got them rigged up with these, they call it an anchor trolley. And it's basically just a string that runs the full length of the kayak. And you can kind of adjust that string to, adjust the angle you're sitting casting at. So we'll just have that, that claw anchor ready, right there in arm's reach. So if we need to drop that anchor real quick, we can just slide that off the side and really, really work that area over.
Cool. Is that trolley? Is that something that comes on like standard on most kayaks, or is that like an add-on feature that can go on most, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, it's something you just add on.
Okay.
Most kayakers that use an anchor go ahead and add one on. Like when I get a new kayak, that is day one, the first thing I put on a kayak.
Okay.
But yeah, you can buy them. There's a few different companies that make them if you want to buy like a pre-made kit. But to be honest, all you need is a couple pad eyes and, maybe 20 feet of paracord, and you can make one yourself pretty easy.
All right, cool.
That's cool.
So, all right, well, off the kayaking, I wanted to jump back into the fishing. What are you, like, say when you're on the Eastern Shore, when you're fishing around the creeks and points and stuff like that, or what are you doing to key in on your fish? Or you got any visual clues that are helping to give away the fish? You having to make a lot of casts to find them?
So it's kind of been 50-50. I had a couple days where there was no doubt that there was fish there. We kind of rolled up on some of these spots where, the current was flowing across these areas a little bit stronger than some of the other surrounding areas. And you'd see the mullet swimming around. We pulled up, we saw some fish actually kind of busting up near the surface on the bank and stuff. So that day, we were able to just kind of look for the mullet, and just about everywhere we went, there was, a school of mullet, and there was a school of trout kind of surrounding it near that. We did have 1 or 2 days where it was just a lot of casting. I couldn't really tell you what the difference was, because it was like one day the fish were going crazy. It was active. I mean, you'd see them everywhere. And then, I came back 24 hours to the same exact spot, almost identical tide movement. It's just everything was set up just exactly the same. But we did have to start to search for those fish. Of course, I was able to go back to the spot where we had the day before and kind of duplicate that. But once we started moving on from those areas, it was just kind of a lot of casting. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll pick a bank, either I've been kind of leaning towards the wind-blown banks this past week, but I get down on that bank and just start dissecting it. With those pedals, it's a little bit easier than like a traditional paddle kayak, so I can actually kind of use those pedals like a trolling motor to really move around and, work an area, just like I said, just like you would with a trolling motor. So it was definitely have that advantage with that. But kind of what I've been looking for is it like, if I can find some structure, like, whether it be, a dock or, maybe some old pilings, maybe stumps or anything like that. I'll kind of focus in on those, and especially the ones that, like I said, have a lot of current moving across them. That's been what I've focused into.
All right. You got anything else, Richard?
Man, that's interesting stuff. One thing I was thinking about that's kind of been giving the fish away for me, like what Patrick's last question was there, is man, they've been slicking real good. The trout have been slicking real good around the areas I've been catching them on. I assume that you would be at a significant disadvantage on a kayak as far as being able to see the slicks. I would think you'd probably still be able to smell them, if not smell them better, because you're so low to the water and whatnot. But when you're yakking like that, can you see that at that level? See when they're slicking up and whatnot.
Yeah, I see them occasionally, but I definitely don't see them as much as like I hear y'all talking about it. If that slick's not within, I would say at best 10 yards from me, I could go right by it and never see it. I have smelled that watermelon smell a couple times this week as I've been catching some fish. But yeah, it is very, very tough to see the slick. If you're standing up making a drift, you get a little bit longer or wider field of view.
Right.
But yeah, you're definitely cut down on the ability to find those.
I tell you what, with the smelling it thing, man, it's absolutely just you got to train your brain. You know what I mean? It's and at this point for me, this is going to sound like, I don't know, it's going to sound wild or like I got some kind of like sexual fantasy or something, but it, like, when I smell a trout slick, it is intoxicating to me. You know what I mean? And it's like, I could smell them when I'm running the boat 50 miles an hour from one spot to the other or whatever. Or if I'm in an area, I'll be like, where's it at? Where's it at? I'm like a damn dog trying to find a bird or something. It's just wild once you get a nose for it. How in tune you get with that. And if I was a yacker like y'all, I would think I'd probably have being, like I said, being so low to the water, your range of vision isn't that far. So you really gotta use that nose, man. And I would think to do it, because it's funny. It's even funny too, like when there's no wind and it's slicked off calm and you're in an area where some fish are feeding and whatnot. And it drives me up the wall because you'll smell fish. And you're like, and you're not catching them one after another. You're like, where the heck are them juggers, man? Because there's no wind. I don't know where they're at. Are they up current from me? Or are they down current? I don't know. Kind of thing, man. But I was kind of talking to my client about that today. He's a local guy over there in Fairhope, Michael Chambly, who is a big podcast listener and whatnot. We were kind of talking about the slicks. He's like, man, I think I see trout slicks everywhere, and I'm like, anyway, we got a good chance to point several out to him today and whatnot. And one of them popped up like behind us from where we were fishing. I was like, man, you don't smell that? He's like, yeah, I kind of smell that. But I'm like, man, there's a stinky fish over there, man. If you can't smell that, you got something wrong with your sniffer, absolutely. That's just the best way I can describe it. It's just intoxicating to me when I smell one. I just get so fired up because they're fish feeding somewhere around you, like within less than 100 yards of you, so you always got to love it when they're slicking, man, because they just give themselves away, man. They just say, hey, I'm over here. Look at me, come get me.
Oh, yeah. You can't beat it. I tell you, it's always great to see the reactions of the customers when you tell them that, like somebody from up north or something. They always are like, you can see the doubt in their eye when you first tell them, but when you're able to prove it, that is probably one of my favorite parts of this job.
Yeah. It's fun. It's many times where a trout slick will pop up, and I'm like, "Hey, throw right over there. There's a trout. There's some fish over there," and I can see my customer like look back at me like, "This guy is full of crap," and they throw over there and catch it. And I'm like, "See, I told you.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a good cast, though. I'm going to give the customer
Oh, man, that's good. That's good right there.
I'm being a guide, you being a fisherman. Well, Scott, I got a question for you, man. We all the time have new listeners to the show, and sometimes people are maybe have a relevant thing coming up. Maybe they're coming in town and their grandma has a kayak, then they're going to go put it in the water and go try to catch a speckled trout. What's going to be kind of the simple version of, hey, I got a 12-foot kayak and a couple of fishing rods. What do I need to take to go in my kayak to go have a shot at catching a couple fish?
Yeah. So you really don't need a ton. A lot of us, myself included, like to overthink it and just pack everything you can fit on there.
That's why.
But really, you only need exactly.
Patrick, come on, man.
All right, go ahead, Scott.
But the necessary things to get you out there, of course, you're going to need a paddle. That is most important. Either a paddle or some kind of pedal drive.
All right.
One thing I touched on a little bit earlier, an anchor. Always bring an anchor out. And I bring an anchor out, not only just to be able to stop myself and, fish, but just as kind of a just in case. Like if I run into an emergency where I lose my paddle and I'm drifting out a pass or something, I can at least stop myself and flag somebody down.
Yeah.
So an anchor is a good one to have. Of course, you want your life jacket. If you're in deep water, you definitely need to wear that. Shallower water, some people get a little lazy with it, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong real quick in a kayak. As a kayak fisherman, it's not if you're going to ever flip your kayak, it's just a matter of when. So, if you find yourself in deeper water, any kind of current, you don't know how to swim the best, you got a cramp or anything, it's good to go ahead and have that life jacket on and not have to try to search for it, because you usually don't have quite as much time to find something when things go down in a kayak. So you got to kind of have that one ready. A safety whistle, just like a boat, you need that safety whistle. I like to have it on the kayak, in case, especially if I'm over in like Orange Beach or something. You get a lot of people out there that enjoy some beverages and don't necessarily know how to drive a boat. It's helpful to be able to let them know real loudly that they're getting a little too close to you. That kind of covers as far as like gear wise, you know, of course, cooler. Like I like to bring a cooler. So if I'm keeping fish, you know, I don't have to worry about a stringer. I have had issues in the past with having a stringer off the side of my kayak and sharks coming up and me getting to the launch and realizing I've only got half of the fish I thought I did. And,
Godly.
Yeah, it's
oh my goodness.
Use stringers other places, but I'm not a stringer guy. So a cooler is a good thing, you know, a good water bottle or something to keep you hydrated, because you are gonna, you are exerting some physical effort trying to get from spot to spot, especially moving in the next couple months with as hot as it is. But past that, you know, as far as like fishing gear, you know, I like about a 7-foot rod. That's mainly just because I can reach that rod around the front or the back of my kayak fairly easy without having to stand up or anything if I need to, because it is a lot of these fish, redfish especially, I've noticed. I don't know what it is about them, but they're notorious when we get them near the kayaks, and same with the boats. You know, they try to just dive right underneath the boat. So you got to be able to, you know, kind of follow them around. So 7 foot's good. I know a lot of guys go 7.6, but I don't like a 7.6 because I'm notorious at breaking a 7'6" rod in my truck. And that's how, you know, they ride in my truck. So that's, you know, as far as rod, everything. Tackle boxes, you know, one thing you do have to put a little thought into is your tackle boxes, because everything is going to get wet on your kayak. It's going to get splashed. You're going to splash it with your paddle. So I like those waterproof Plano boxes just to keep my lures still good. So that's another good thing to keep on there. Man, past that, I mean, I could keep going all day of things that you could add on there. You know, of course, you like to film videos or anything. A good camera mount for your GoPro is always a good one, but you don't necessarily need that if you're just going out for a day of fishing.
Scott, let me ask you a question. Because I've run into this a couple of times, and you've been talking about safety gear and whatnot. I really like your idea about having an anchor on your boat, and I really think a lot of people, even who are riding around in boats like Patrick and I every day, I don't think people these days even think about having an anchor a lot of times, because, I've got a trolling motor that'll hold me, or I've got a power pole that'll stop me, or this, that, and the other. And then the things I think about are like what you're talking about. You get in a pass, or you get somewhere with a lot of current, and usually around passes and current, there's lots of rocks all over the place, you know, and you got to be able to stop yourself if something bad happens. You know what I mean? If you have some major mechanical failure or electrical failure, you know, this, that, and the other. So I really love your idea about the anchor. What about lights? I know we're always getting out there early. What is required on a kayak, and what do you do as far as like navigation lights for your either early morning or either night fishing?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple on a kayak, you know, being a smaller vessel and we're not under power. All we're required is one 360-degree light. So I use like Yak Gear makes one. It's real simple, just plugs right into your, you put a little mount down there, kind of like a Scotty rod mount, and then just plug that in there. Now I do bring as bright of a headlight as I can possibly bring, you know, in case I do need to spotlight somebody or anything. But all you're required is a 360-degree light.
Okay.
I know some guys will put red and green running lights on their kayak. And that's one of the hot topics in kayak fishing. It always gets brought up and people always get really angry about it for some reason. Yeah, you got two sides of the fences. You know, so you got people that say you shouldn't put the lights on there because once you put those red and green lights on the kayak, you kind of give up your right of way, being a smaller vessel under power. Some people say it's more lights, you look more visible from a boat. So it's kind of, I always enjoy watching people get heated up on those. Me personally, if I had to say, I'd probably lean towards not keeping them on there just so somebody doesn't assume, because you know the saying when you assume. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a long-winded way of saying all you need is a 360 light.
Yeah, I like that a lot, just because I literally almost ran over a kayaker one time in Rabbit Creek whenever I was running out to Fish Dog River one day. And I literally, I almost ran over this guy in the dark one morning, and he had no lights on his kayak. And so anyway, it was a good, I guess, there was no harm, no foul. Nobody got hurt or anything. It was a good experience for me, because now I have a much keener eye out for you guys, and I always give as much right away as I can to kayakers and whatnot. That's kayak fishing is one of the fastest growing sports in fishing, in my opinion. And there's literally not a day, and I'm sure Patrick can attest to this too. I go out on a guide trip, I see somebody in a kayak every single day. I'll put my boat in the water. Almost as many kayakers out there as there are boats running around some days, you know. Yep. And it's cool. I mean, it's super cool. It's a nice economical, exercise friendly. I mean, there's it's such a cool thing. The thing I'm so jealous of you kayakers is how quiet and stealthy you can be. You know what I mean? Like, you get up in some real shallow water, talking about less than 2 foot of water. Those fish, they can't even have a clue that you're there in that kayak. Versus me, I'm a big 25-foot bay boat, knocking around, banging hatches and displacing water and hull slap and everything else. Man, you guys can go some places we can't, and be super sneaky about it, man. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's one of the big advantages for me. What I really love about it is, especially when we're sight casting and stuff, you can be standing up looking around for them and get, not uncommon to get, within 5-10 yards of a fish and basically just drop the lure from your rod tip straight to that fish's face. And like you said, they're just as normal as they can be, never even knowing you're there.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, I got one more thought or question about the kayaking and this is probably a question that I think a lot of boaters may have from time to time, is what do y'all, as kayakers, what do you like if a boater is passing by you? Would you prefer them to slow down, keep speed,
get that baby out,
just
get it going as fast as you possibly can? Don't even try to back off on that throttle.
Yep. Just stay on plane, right on by.
Yeah, the problem I understand it's people just, trying to be respectful and everything, but the worst ones are when people slow down and they get in that half speed bog and then they just throw it as absolutely big a wake as they can. But yeah, if I had somebody tell me, I usually try to wave them on, just telling them keep that throttle pinned, because, you keep it up on that plane and you're going to throw a lot less wake on us than bogging it down.
Attaboy.
Yep. I'm glad you asked that question, Patrick, and good to know. But anytime, I don't know why, but just, going to captain school and having the credential and whatnot, just, the law says says captains or boaters or whatever, they teach you that we're responsible for our wake, and the thing I always think about is running by and somebody flipping over or something like that. And whenever I slow down for anybody, like for another boat or a kayak or anything, like I come down to idle, you know what I mean? I don't do the half wake thing, which you're talking about, which that irritates me as a fisherman as well, especially more in the fall and winter time when we're fishing in the rivers and whatnot, and they do that half wake thing. It's terrible. I understand. But golly, I just can't make myself freaking fly by somebody if I feel like I'm gonna wake them. You know what I mean? I always just slow down.
Yeah, well, I tell you, you're doing, if you come all the way down to to idle like you're saying, that is best case scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
But most people don't make it that far down. It seems like, I guess, at least for me. Maybe I got a sign on me or something that says,
yeah, you do.
Because I think it's they just see how wide my kayak is and they want to see what I can get away with.
Maybe so, Scott. Well, well, man, this is good conversation, but we need to wrap this thing up. We've got a pile of information in tonight, and give us the rundown. How do folks get in touch with you, and how they come and jump on a kayak and go around with Scott Kennedy.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested in the trip, they can give me a call at 251-408-2604. You can check out Fishing Chaos, Whistling Waters on Fishing Chaos. That's got all my dates, rates, availability, anything like that. Or you can check me out on Facebook at Whistling Waters Kayak Fishing.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Scott. That was a great segment, man. Really enjoyed talking to you, bud.
Sounds good. I appreciate you guys having me back on.
All right, man. Keep whacking them. All right, guys, that wraps up another great segment. Y'all take a minute to check out a few of this week's sponsors.
That segment was brought to you by Photonis Defense. Photonis Defense is proud to offer the PD Pro line of night vision systems. The PD Pro series is the world's smallest and lightest night vision goggles built around the Photonis 16mm filmless 4G image intensifier tubes and their hybrid filmless 18mm image intensifier tubes. The ultralight, ultra-compact night vision systems deliver cleanest image, best resolution, smallest, most transparent halo, and best overall performance and function of any night vision system available. The PD Pro line consists of the PD Pro M 16mm monocular, the PD Pro B 16mm binocular, and the PD Pro Q panoramic night vision system. Photonis Defense, masters of darkness. And also, the Hunting Exchange. In this day and age, we all know it is a struggle to sell hunting equipment on a large social media platform, and that's where the Hunting Exchange steps in. Hunting Exchange is an app for iOS and Android that gives you a one-stop shop to buy and sell your hunting gear. Whether you're looking to sell your bow, broadheads, technical apparel, stands, saddles, or anything in between, this secure platform allows you to buy and sell gear with confidence. As a buyer, each dollar you spend is insured by PayPal, and as a seller, there are no hidden charges like other platforms, and listing items is also free. Gone are the days of having listings removed from Facebook and worrying about being banned and removed from groups for wanting to sell something as simple as your bow or knives. So head on over to the App Store or Google Play and experience a new hassle-free way to buy and sell hunting gear by downloading the Hunting Exchange app today. And also, Sam's Stop and Shop. Sam's Stop and Shop is your one-stop shop located at 27122 Canal Road in Orange Beach. Sam's has a little bit of everything, including a deli, inshore, offshore, and surf fishing tackle. They also have bait, clothing, groceries, name brand sunglasses, and so much more. Sam's also has tackle experts and podcast contributors Chris Becce and Dusty Hayes on hand to answer any questions you may have about any type of local fishing, and can also repair your rods and reels if necessary. Stop by and shop or call them at 251-981-4245 today.
All right, Richard, what did you learn?
Oh, man, sounds like everything's inshore wise, talking to comparing notes with you and talking to Scott, man, sounds like things are great right now. If you got a fishing bone in your body for inshore, you need to go. Offshore, skipper there kind of downplayed it a little bit, what he's been doing. Obviously there's still some opportunity to be had. Something to really get into, I guess, man, but like kind of talking to Scott and to you, and we didn't talk about this in either of our reports. It definitely seems like the speckled trout anyway are really on a finfish diet right now. Talking about using a lot of topwaters and slicks, and Scott really likes that Miradine and whatnot. So and most all the quality fish I have caught here in the past probably at least week, if not 2 weeks, have all been on finfish imitations, not live shrimp, catching plenty of fish on live shrimp, obviously, but the very quality fish have come on finfish imitations. So maybe that's one thing that just kind of poked out to me there. What about you?
Man, definitely the finfish is the thing to do right now. I mean, I've seen it, and you've talked about it, and Scott talked about it. The slick lure, the top water. I even threw some pogies today. It's actually the first time we put any pogies in the water. And
oh, cool.
Trout freaking smoked the pogies. And like you said, the crazy thing is we could go to the bait shop and buy live shrimp and still be effective with that too. So it's not like you have to go finfish, but man, the quality of the fish is really good. I mean, it seems like we don't hardly see a fish under like 17 or 18 inches throwing a lure or a like I did with the pogies. Most of the fish that we had on the pogies were all 21 to 23 inches today. So
man,
quality.
Yeah,
if you're looking for quality, that's where you need to be. You don't and not necessarily worrying about live shrimp. But if you're looking to put some fish in a box, then you may actually need some live shrimp to get fish that are in the slot limit.
Yeah. That's a good thought. I tell you what's funny is today we're the first place we started at started throwing artificial, and it was kind of a funky bite to kind of figure out. And as I was trying to figure it out, I threw a live shrimp on a popping cork out there and gave it to I had a 10-year-old on the boat today, so I was letting him pop a cork and whatnot. First shrimp out there went down, boom, and caught a real nice fish, and then couldn't buy another bite on a shrimp. But every other time we were throwing a slick or a grub out there, we were getting bit, getting a lot more action on that. Whereas the live shrimp just get kind of just sitting there getting left all alone over there, like, hey, come give me some love over here, But we couldn't find any love for him. It was just kind of weird, You're just sitting there thinking, man, why the heck would a trout turn down a live shrimp just sitting there, But man, when they get hot on something, they put their mind to it, just kind of like us, what they want is what they're gonna get. So
what's funny about that is it seems like the deeper water bites tend to be a little bit better on the shrimp, and I've had it where customers were catching fish on shrimp, whether it be slip corks or free line or whatever. And if the bite got a little bit slow, I would throw like a slick or a little slick or something like that in there, or a paddle tail, and not get a bite. And then they drop a couple more shrimp in there and start catching fish again. It's like,
it works.
When they're on shrimp, they're on shrimp.
Yep, it works both ways,
Yep.
So something to always keep in mind, Well, Patrick, I really enjoyed co-hosting with you today, man. Picking up Butch's slack because he's out fishing right now, out of town.
Yeah,
little joker, but we'll put him back. We'll put him back to work next week. But man, I really enjoyed it today. It was a lot of fun breaking all this down.
I always love it, man. I appreciate you taking time away and jumping on here with me. And we'll rap about it again here pretty soon.
Yes, sir. Bob, man. Keep catching them.
All right, bro. All right, guys. That wraps up another great segment. Let's take a quick break while y'all check out a few of this week's sponsors.
That segment was brought to you by Ricciardone Family Dentistry. You're going to need a good dentist, so you may as well make an appointment with fellow angler Josh Ricciardone. He provides services for all ages and accepts most dental insurances. Do not let an achy tooth ruin a day on the water. Call today to book an appointment at 251-342-6672. Also brought to you by Foster Contracting, Fortified Roofing Pros. Often when a business is small, you miss the professionalism you get with larger companies. That's not the case with Fortified Roofing Pros. They're a family-owned business that is big enough to get the job done, but small enough to care. If you're looking for quality construction with a dependable, licensed, and certified fortified roofing professional, give the Fortified Roofing Pros a call at 251-973-9999. Remember to support the local businesses that make your local podcast possible and check them out at fortifiedroofingpros.com. Also by United Bank. United Bank knows what an important role agriculture plays in our local economy. At United Bank, they are here to support local farmers with financial products and services designed specifically for agribusiness, including real loans for farmland, equipment loans, working lines of credit, and more. Truth is, they deeply value the contributions agriculture makes to our communities, and they help our local farmers build successful businesses. They want to see you succeed. Learn more at unitedbank.com or stop by any United Bank branch. United Bank, all loans subject to credit approval, equal housing opportunity lender, member FDIC.
All right, Richard, didn't plug your business. Tell everybody how to find you, what they need to do to get a trip with Captain Richard Rutland. Well, you got two boats, so you got inshore and offshore. So tell everybody how to find you.
Yep, inshore and offshore. It's coldbloodedfishing.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, or pick up the old landline, which people rarely do anymore, and call me at 251-459-5077. A live person will answer the phone and answer any questions you have.
All right, and for anybody,
what about you, Patrick? How do we get a hold of you?
Anybody trying to find me, go to uglyfishing.com. You're looking for my calendar. You can click the book now or check availability button. You can see my live calendar. You can also book online. If you need to contact me for any reason, you can call me or text me at 251-747-1554.
Or TikTok too, right? Aren't you on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok.
Yeah. I love it.
All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up this week. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to the podcast. And don't forget to text the word fishing to 314-665-1767 to get that 10% off AFCO promo code and also be added to our email list. We'll be sending you the new show each week. You guys keep whacking them and stay safe out there.
This week's Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report has been brought to you by Bucks Island. They have new pontoon boats, bass boats, bow riders, and aluminum boats for sale. They provide boat service on all kinds of boats, even if they weren't purchased from Bucks. Visit them at 4500 Highway 77 in Southside, Alabama, or give them a call at 256-442-2588. Also brought to you by Hilton's Real-Time Navigator, bringing you the highest quality online satellite fishing chart since 2004. Your source for sea temps, altimetry, currents, and watercolor at hiltonsoffshore.com. And also brought to you by Bahio Sunglasses. See more, catch more. Experience the clearest lenses on the planet with Bahio Sunglasses. Try on a pair at your local retailer or check out BahioSunglasses.com to see for yourself.
This week's Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report brought to you by me, Angelo Depaola, The Coastal Connection. Find us online at thecoastalconnection.com.
And also brought to you by BoatersList.com. If you own or run a boat, you know how difficult it can be to find the right company for the task at hand. Sign up at BoatersList.com to find a company to work with on your next boat project. And also brought to you by Fishbites. Whether you are hitting the sand with set rigs using the traditional scent strips for pompano or fishing the flats or marshes for speckled trout, redfish, and flounder, Fishbites has something for you. Fishbites baits and lures are made with pride in the Sunshine State of the USA. Check out the full line of scented saltwater and freshwater baits at Fishbites.com. And also brought to you by KillerDock. KillerDock uses marine-grade aluminum to make fabulous fish cleaning tables and stunning canopies that will keep us out of the sun. KillerDock combines durability, function, and design to uniquely upgrade your entire dock experience. Visit KillerDock.com to see more. And also brought to you by Dixie Supply and Baker Metalworks are proud to be your metal roofing headquarters for over 40 years. Save time and money by buying from the most reliable manufacturer on the Gulf Coast. Buy it today, pick it up today. With the addition of their new store in Cantonment, Florida, they now have 8 locations to serve you. Dixie Supply and Baker Metalworks, your metal roofing headquarters. And also brought to you by MB Ranch King. MB Ranch King hunting blinds and feeders are built to last, right here in the USA. They offer high-quality, easy-to-use corn and protein feeders that can be filled with both feet on the ground. Call Kevin today for more info or a quote at 205-807-2937. MB Ranch King, built in the pursuit of perfection. And also brought to you by Test Calibration. Test Calibration is your source for sales and service of diesel turbochargers and fuel injection systems since 1976. Contact them at 800-822-0057 or visit them online at testcalibratindieselandturbo.com.
This week's Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report was brought to you by me, Joe Baya, and National Land Realty. If I can help you in any way with the purchase or sale of land in Alabama or Florida, whether it's timberland, farmland, recreational land like hunting land, or even agricultural land or ranch land like a horse farm, drop me a message at jbaya@nationalland.com. That's JBAYA at nationalland.com.
And also, Great Days Outdoors, the South's finest hunting and fishing magazine. Pick up your copy wherever magazines are sold or check them out at greatdaysoutdoors.com.